Welcome to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, this morning we're making breakfast, and I thought I would share with you what we're making. It's called a sausage cornbread skillet, and it's from a recipe from a lady that I used to work with many years ago at AT&T, and it is delicious. So I went ahead and it calls for 8 ounces or a half a pound of breakfast sausage. And that's what I have going in my pan already, and it calls for an 8-inch skillet. So into that you're supposed to add 1 medium onion. So I want to finish cutting up this onion. This onion actually is a small medium onion, I would say, but it'll work because the others I had on hand were quite big. I just kind of wanted to show you how I cut my onions. I've done it on other videos as well, but just in case this might be your first video. So I'm going to go ahead and add this onion to the sausage in the pan. And we'll stir that up. And whatever you pick to cook your sausage and onion in on the stove, you want to make sure that it is a pan that you can put into the oven, that it's oven proof. Or I guess you could just put it all into like a casserole dish at the end as well and bake it. But I've always just done it in a cast iron skillet.
What heat is that on this for?
It's on medium.
Good.
Push those onions down in there.
Push them down.
Okay. And so while that's cooking, I'm going to move this over to the side and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. I have a small bowl here, and the recipe calls for a half a cup of all-purpose flour. And I went ahead and measured all this out. A half a cup of cornmeal. I'm using white today, but you could use whichever one you wanted. It calls for, I have it written down over here, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And a half a teaspoon of salt. That's a quarter. Let's find the half here. Well, you know what? I'm going to just use 2 quarters, and that'll be a half.
That's correct.
There we go. And it also calls for a half a teaspoon of thyme. That's what I have here. And I also add sage to it. The recipe doesn't call for it, but I really do like sage with breakfast sausage. So there we go. And also 1 tablespoon of sugar. And I've got my sugar over here, so let me get that. This sugar's kind of lumpy. There we go. There. Let's see how our sausage is doing here.
Smells good.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's doing well. I'm just kind of breaking it up. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of stir this up in here. Get it all incorporated. Alright, then the recipe calls for a half a cup of water, which I have in here. And it also calls for 2 eggs. Got 2 eggs here. And I always tap mine on the counter instead of the edge of my bowl.
So you don't get any shells in it.
Yep, that's right.
I've watched enough of these videos to know that.
And I'm just going to slightly whip these up. Pour that right in here with that 1/2 cup of water. And then it also calls for 1 cup of milk, and I have whole milk here. You could use buttermilk or, you know, whatever you want, but that's what I had on hand this morning. So, and I'm just going to whip this up. And I have my oven preheated to 425 degrees. Let's see, I'm going to just put that right there since we're done with that. And let me check the sausage and see how that's doing. I'm going to let this sausage cook for another minute or two, and we'll be right back, and I'll continue to show you what we're going to do next. Hi, well, our sausage and the onions, you can tell, are brown. And that's what the goal is. You want to get that nice and brown, lightly brown, not well done. But I'm going to turn my heat just down to low now. I've had this on medium pretty much the whole time. Medium, you're going to leave what leftover grease is in here in your pan. So you don't even have to drain it. The pork today is so much leaner than it used to be, so you really don't need to worry about that. Like when I make biscuits and gravy with the sausage and stuff, I don't drain it. In fact, I actually add butter to it, so there's enough fat in it to make the gravy. So anyway, this is my flour and cornmeal mixture that we had made up with the thyme and the baking powder and sage in it, and sugar. And now I'm going to add this, which is the eggs and the water and the milk. And just stir that up a little because it's been sitting here. And just put that in here, and we're going to stir it up. While you guys were gone and we were letting this sausage and onions cook up, I went ahead and cleaned everything else up that I had that I could clean. I'm one of those cooks that cleans as I go to help out, so it doesn't seem like I've got a bunch of stuff to clean at the end. Now what I'm doing here is just combining this so it's combined well and trying to get rid of most of the lumps. You can really smell the thyme and the sage in this. This is so good. And you serve this with real maple syrup over the top of each serving. It's yummy.
Delightful.
Yep, it really is. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to it. And if you wanted to, you could add extra red pepper flakes or Tabasco or something like that to the recipe. We have done that in the past. Today we're not, but that's really good too. So now what I'm going to do is turn this burner off. And I already have my oven preheated to 425 degrees. I'm going to put it in the oven and it'll be baking for 20 to 25 minutes. And I'll be back to show you what it looks like at the end. Hi, well, our sausage cornbread skillet is done, and I gotta tell you guys, it smells delicious. And one of the things that I do to make sure that something is done is I'll put a toothpick in, and if it comes out clean, it's done. So I'm gonna let this cool for a little bit, and then we're gonna cut it, and I'll show you what it looks like. See you back in a few minutes. Hi, well it's cooled now for about 7-10 minutes and we're gonna go ahead and cut into it. We're hungry and it smells so delicious. Yummy, yummy. So what I did to start, I took my spatula here, which is serrated on the one side, and I went around my pan, just so you know what I did. And then I'm cutting it. Now I'm just gonna cut it like I would a piece of pie or cake. And we'll see how easy it comes out. The first piece is always the hardest to get out, isn't it? Well, there we go. We'll go ahead and put that over there. Oh, it smells so good. Put my glasses on so I can see it better. Oh yeah, look at that.
I'm gonna close up this glow. Looks good to me.
Mm-hmm. And what we do is we serve it with maple syrup, which is my friend Norma had in her recipe to do. And we just drizzle it over the top.
A drizzler.
Is that enough for you, or would you like a little
That's
more?
enough. That's
Okay.
enough.
All right. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like and subscribe to our channel. We would really appreciate it. Bye. Hey, you guys, I just had to let you know I took a bite of this, and I got to tell you, it is delicious. And
Another winner.
thank you, Norma, for this recipe. We really like it. Talk to you later. Bye.